Hey, Chris Jenkins, aka Man of the People, credential member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, and it has happened. A rarity in the NFL that a coach gets fired not only in his first season, but not even completing his first season. So this is really just a quick reaction kind of video. Excuse me, sharing this with you guys that this has happened. The link is in the description for those who want to come on and tell me how you feel about this. Tell me what questions that you may have. I know I did not see this coming this early. I really thought that it was going to be a situation where he could be fired during the season, but I felt like it would have to get worse. Not to say that it's not bad. I just felt like it would have to be worse. And I'll even just say thoughts like that I had because it was, I believe, last year that an NFL sent out the memo to say, hey, owners of your teams, give your coaches a chance for some success. Don't fire them so quickly. We can't have all this turnover in the league, new coach, new coach, new coach, and then you have all these contracts that you're paying people for that are not there. Just try to be a little bit more patient to give things a chance to stabilize. For that reason, I'm not saying that I felt like Frank was going to continue on, but I just felt like it was going to be something that allowed him to last just a little bit longer. But nevertheless, that is the report. Carolina Panthers have fired their head coach, Frank Reich, and they have appointed an interim head coach. Let me know if this is a surprise to you. It's not Ivero, it is not Brown, it is special teams Chris Tabor. Chris Tabor will be your interim head coach. And let me see if I can just go ahead and read this statement from you for you all from the Carolina Panthers regarding this. And like I said, this is just a quick reaction video. Mostly want to get the news out there and let you know that this has happened. Um, so much more to do, but let me just again get to this statement that Tepper wrote to the to the fans. He says, I met with Coach Reich this morning and informed him that he will not continue as head coach of the Carolina Panthers. I want to thank Frank for his dedication and service. We wish him well. Effective immediately. Special teams coordinator Chris Tabor will serve as our interim head coach. Senior assistant Jim Caldwell will be a special advisor to offensive coordinator Thomas Brown, who will take over play calling duties. Signed, David Tepper. So, want to get that out there, and let's go ahead and tell you what the record was for this Carolina Panthers team. 1-10, only having one victory. That was in Week 8 against the Houston Texans. Lots of troubles, but again, I want to get you all's reaction to this. Obviously, there's a lot of questions out there about what's going to happen next. And to be honest, there's so much to happen next. There is so much to happen next. We have a live show tonight, at 7 p.m. So I'm going to save some content for that show that comes on tonight at 7. But we're going to start talking through a little bit of what you all are saying and thinking right now. Let me just go ahead and, I was going to say go to the phones, but I can't quite go to the phones. Give me just 1 second here. Give me just 1 second. Now, I'm sure information is going to be coming out as I talk with you all, so I will share that. So let's just get to the next question, which I already see in the comments. I'm going to put some comments up. Scott Fitterer. A lot of people want Scott Fitterer gone. There's no mention about Scott Fitterer and his future with the team. So shortly today, the media will meet with the Carolina Panthers. It's typically Frank Reich. It will now be Chris Tabor. I'm not sure how things will change with the normal meeting schedule with the firing of head coach Frank Reich. So let me keep my phone nearby, do my Ian Rappaport as I'm talking to y'all to make sure I get all the things going. All right, let's start to get through this. Get to some of these comments. And again, links in the description for anybody that is not at work and wants to join in and ask any questions, say any comments about today's firing. Man, we just get this is tough business, man. It is tough. We've had so many coaches. We've had Ron Rivera, we've had Perry Fuel, we had Matt Rule, we had Steve Wilkes, we had Frank Reich. Now we have Chris Tabor. And obviously we're going to have we're going to have a seventh person. And for that seventh person, I surely hope that right now David Tepper is so mad. He said, you know what, I'm just going to get a head start on all this. I don't know. A head start and get it done right. Get it done right. That's important. And it's unfortunately it's going to be another process that fans have to go through with trusting a new coach, trusting new promises and things like that. But it doesn't seem like it's going to take that much to be better, right? We only have one win and we're almost in December. We're basically at December. So if the new coach comes in, wins one preseason game, we're already tons better than we were this year. Anyway, I'm going off. Let me get back on track and go through some of these comments that are coming out there. Richard Evans says, GM should have been fired. The one that can make the biggest change on this team right now, right? You can fire the GM, but that's not going to have anything change as far as what the play calling looks like, what the plays are looking like, what schemes you're running, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So to get the most change right now, yeah, head coach would be the person that could do that, and Scott Fitter could be somebody that follows. Just has not followed yet. Chris Mack, one of our members of the channel, thank you for being a member of the channel. He says, when does Scott go? So I strongly believe that, and I don't have sources, I like to tell you guys when I have more conviction on things, but I think Fitter is liked by Tepper to some extent. Fitterer was involved in the process for coaching, the vetting process for the coaches, that whole interview process. Scott Fitterer was pretty involved with that. So maybe he's not going to continue forever with him, but I think maybe right now, considering that he was on that staff and part of that process before that, hired the coach that we currently have in Frank Reich, that there's probably some trust there and he's keeping him there for the moment. But at this moment, there's no determination or no set time that Scott will be out of here. Sorry about that. All right, let's continue to work through some of these comments. David Tepper needs to stay out of decisions. So, and that might be what he's going to do right now. I got a feeling that right now, Tepper just had so much steam, and he just had his top blew, right? Because there was the report that he left the locker room yesterday, dropping F-bombs, just shaking his head. There was him being on television against that Thursday night game against Chicago, just being upset. There's also, I think I probably still have them up, some pictures from the other day. You can see this team, if he's down there on the field and he's looking at this team, he's like, man, these guys are so dejected. You have this picture here of Bryce Young just walking off the field, just very dejected about everything. You have this other, not that one. And you got this picture here, Eddie Pinheiro and Bryce after the game, dejection. You got Chart and LaVisca after the game, just looking pretty dejected. So it's certainly, to me, feels like a situation where his top just blew. He might not have the whole plan together yet, but he's like, for this as it is right here, I cannot do any longer, and I will not do any longer. So there you have it. Frank Reich is no longer the coach. Again, there's a link in the description for you to click on, come on the show, let me know what you're thinking, vent, ask a question, whatever it may be. I'm here for you. And also, get in the habit of hitting that like button. Hit the like button. And if you want, you can join us tonight at 7 p.m. for our normal show that we'll do for the day after. Let's continue to go through a few of these comments. It looks like the Mad Chatter saying Panthers go nowhere until Tepper stays out of the decision making. Okay. Niall says the rebuild is taking longer than expected. Been a few years now. It's been a few years plus a few years plus a few years. It's been a lot of years. It's been a lot of years. And it's going to be some more years. Give me a moment, y'all. Let me see when the press conference for today was going to be. See, the press conference is usually in the afternoon. So that has a very high likelihood of remaining this afternoon for the press conference. So stay tuned, stay tuned. No coach can win with this roster and lack of drafting. So it is some bad drafting. It is a bad roster. You don't have any draft picks that are high to help get you immediately on the road, the right track. So this will certainly not be a we're there next year type of thing. Like we can arrive. But firing a coach, having a new coach come in, no matter how well the coach was liked or disliked, is always a shot in the arm for a team. Always a shot in the arm. Everybody will now feel like there's some new hope. There's a new chance. Maybe you're a player that felt like they weren't letting you play in the best position to win. Maybe you're a player that felt like you weren't even given a good opportunity to win. And maybe you're a player that's just not even that good. But it's new motivation. It's new opportunity. So these last 6 games that we have left, 2, 4, let's see, 2, 4. I can't count. Let me put my finger up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, last 6 games that we have left. I should have known our record's 1-10, and we have 17 games. But these last 6 games, I think it changes, man. I think it's gonna be. It should be different. It should be different. All right. Let's continue to work through some of these comments that are coming out here. Hey, Chris, this does not come as a surprise to me. I'm shocked at the interim head coach choice. All the experience on the coaching staff just seems the unlikely choice. Yeah, let's touch on that interim head coach. And give me just a second. Again, with breaking news happening and you go live, it's fun, but there's also things you got to do 2 things at once for. So one moment, everybody out there. Let's see. A lot of people are happy that this has finally happened. Yeah, it has happened. It has happened. And who knows what's going to happen from this point on. All right, so let me continue on with answering some questions here. About Chris Tabor being the interim head coach. Yeah, I think that is an interim choice, an interesting choice to have Tabor. We'll hear from the team later today about that decision, but maybe you pick Tabor because it's the safest one that doesn't hold you on the hook for like last year with Steve Wilks, right? Last year with Steve Wilks, it was he's had previous coaching experience, so everyone would naturally assume that, hey, if he does well, he could be your next head coach. And then he didn't want to go with Wilks, and then it was, this backlash from, man, why did you do that, David? Why did you let Steve Wilks walk when he's had previous coaching experience, he did well when he came here, and you let him go? So I feel like Tabor's a guy where it's safe that you're not looking at Tabor as being the next coach, right? And now, whatever next decision you make, you don't have to deal with the backlash from, hey, why didn't you leave the guy there? So Ivero could be a head coach. Now he could still have Ivero interview for the job. Brown, you could still have Brown interview for the job. But Tabor, I think it's just safe in terms of now you don't have to worry about keeping that current guy as your interim head coach. So yeah, Tabor's never been a head coach. So I just feel like it makes him safe. I'm just looking at a few other things to make sure I talk correctly about it. So Tabor's never been a head coach. He's just been a special teams guy. Most recently in his career, special teams for the Panthers, special teams for the Bears. This guy has been a special teams master since 2011. And I feel like this, and it could be a bad thing, right? I feel like he wanted somebody that will definitely just go his route, do what he wants him to do. He's not been a head coach. He's not going to be the head coach, and he's a safe pick. So now, if Tepper wants whatever direction that Tepper wants right now in the interim, he's going to have a pretty easy time doing that with Tabor, you know. And we'll see what happens. But that's my take on why we have Tabor. Tabor. I keep thinking about Tepper, and I mashed the two together. So sorry about that. Continue to hit that like button. Continue to hit that like button. We'll go through a few more. Joey, what's going on, Joey? Appreciate you tuning in. A bit surprised, but I can't say it's unwarranted. Team was not showing any improvement. Injuries are beyond the coach's control. So, yeah, I feel the same. I did not expect this to happen today. And there was some improvement in this team. And I also felt like Frank was going to have the alibi of saying, man, coach, well, not coach, but Tepper, I have all these injuries, you know. I'm trying to make it, and I'm having to deal with these things. But wasn't the case. And I'm not to say that those things, the excuse of the injuries, the small improvement with things was something that was to do cartwheels over. It just, to me, supported, yeah, he'll make it through the end of the season before we get to this point. But he didn't make it. So I'm reporting to you what has happened. Appreciate the comment, Joey. We will never get a better owner than Jerry Richardson. Very interesting comments there from Richard Evans. I appreciate the comment, Richard. Thomas Frisbee, wow is all I can say. Surprised they didn't name Ivero as interim. Also surprised Fitterer wasn't let go. And again, I feel like Ivero or Thomas weren't named because he wants to not be in the same position that he was last year, where he put a guy with some head coaching experience or guy that's about to be a head coach. Well, let me go back. Specifically, Wilkes had head coaching experience. Ivero and Brown are guys that you know should be getting that opportunity. And I felt like it was just extra criticism if you put those guys in that position to be like, that person has to be your leading candidate for a new coach. And I feel like he didn't want that pressure because it was so much backlash. And there still is a lot of people unhappy about how he did Wilkes. So I felt like from that standpoint, Tabor was the safe choice. More than one person saying Scott Fitterer needs to go as well. Is Bill Cowher too old? Bill Cowher is not too old. I mean, you could coach until you're really, really old. I know Bill Cowher, I think at some point he had some Carolina ties, right? Who knows? It's certainly going to be a lot to report on. You got Bill Cowher. You got, hey, will Bill Belichick be fired, and could he come down here, et cetera, et cetera. But I don't think Bill Cowher's too old to answer your question, Joey. Not sure on the full extent of that question there. The Mad Chat says, I'm not interested in anything until Scott Fitterer is gone. Okay. So to be continued with some people's feelings out there. Appreciate the feedback. Tiff says, I think the GM needs to be fired too. I mean, maybe it was too much to do everything all at once during the season. And some more changes will be coming at the end of the season. But I appreciate the comment, Tiff. Rails. David needs to keep managing head funds, not the Carolina Panthers. So, yeah, he certainly needs to learn from the past in some kind of capacity. He needs to learn from the past, whether that's more hands off, whether that's change your way of thinking so that you can be involved. But what he has been doing, the way he has been involved, the way that he has been thinking, terribly not working. 6 straight losing seasons. And if you look at the record since Steve Wilks has been out of there, just terrible. Steve Wilks has been your only bright spot, and he was around 500 when he was the interim head coach. So, and then you fire this guy right before your string of 3 in a row NFC South opponents. It is what it is. Willie Smith, Tepper is not good or great evaluator of football personnel. 2 misses for head coaches. It's fair enough. Very fair enough. Oh, we got some quarterback talk here. When you said CJ, I thought you were talking about me, and I was trying to understand that comment before I read it. Again, give me a second. I'm going to always be checking my screens to make sure there's no information that has come through since I have gone live. Just another report out here. Tepper has shared with Frank that, he needed to see improvements on the offense. And Tepper's been satisfied with the defense, special teams, but the offense never improved. Sorry about that. Again, 99.9% over that cough and lack of voice that I suffered in Chicago. But zero reason not to take CJ. He's taller than 6 feet and much more athletic. So, of course, you're going to continue to get that. I get it. I'm not mad at it. CJ, I think, set a record yesterday. CJ Stroud for first rookie to have 4 300-yard games in a row. I'm not exactly 100% on that's what it is, but I strongly believe that's what he did the other day. Please choose the next coach that shows passion for the game. Please don't let the next coach be lifeless and nonchalant. I don't feel Panther Nation can handle another coach with lifeless demeanor. You know what I'll give you on that? I will give you one of those. For sure. If the interim head coach does a good job, if the team wins games, promote the interim head coach. So I think he put Tabor in that position purposely to not have the pressure of hiring the interim head coach. Because I don't feel like Tabor's the guy. I don't feel like Tabor's the guy. Chance Hines says this is the right start, but I think we should put the defensive coordinator in charge what he is doing with that defense. So I hear you. I don't disagree with you, that being one of the more likely possibilities that I thought we would have faced. But the defensive coordinator, he's still going to continue to get to do his thing, right? I don't think that a lot's going to change on the other parts. I don't think a lot's going to change on the defense, on the special teams. You may have a few little wrinkles done with the players, but for me, this is my opinion. Is I feel like this may be Tepper wanting a guy that he just will go with what he's wanting to have done right now, and he doesn't have to worry about his head coach's ambitions. Doesn't have to worry about his strong opinions on like this is the way that it's going to be done. And it'll give Tepper a chance to just kind of let him still have his hand in it as he then makes the bigger decisions on the new head coach. Let's see here. Carolina Blitz reported no media coverage this afternoon via X. Okay, so you're saying that it's not going to be any press conferences today? That could be the case. They could give themselves a day to get everything together. I have not gotten word on that, but that seems. Appreciate you, Ronald, for letting me know about that. No media coverage today. All righty. In order to rebuild, do a full rebuild, they need to have a draft pick, solid creators, and a GM who is competent. I'm glad the change was made, but as long as Scott's buying the groceries, no coach will win here. So still a lot of people wanting the GM to get out as well. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up at this point. You got a member here with a comment, so I always like to give the members some. I'm happy, but I would be more happy the rest goes along. Don't fully understand that comment, Tyrone. I'm sorry. I think you're happy that the coach is gone, though. I figured Frank would be gone since Tepper said the F-bomb. Yeah. That definitely sent a message. And he finished making his decision this morning. Love this comment here from Steve, another person. He should let football people do football things and stay out of it. All right. Last one I'll put up here. Curtis M says y'all should want the owner to leave. LOL. So that'll be it. Tepper is officially the worst owner in the NFL. But no, seriously, that'll be it. That's going to wrap it up. We will still have our in-depth discussion on this tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, where myself, my co-host Andre Cassidy will be back joining me, and one half of Panther Nation podcast, Dave, will be joining us to talk about this latest development. So enjoy your Monday. Change is coming. Change is here. I'll continue to report for you. I'm Chris Jenkins reporting for Charlotte Vibe.